I
I
think
don't
I
really
think
bring back the slides.
yeah, I think for future programs should remind me and timer and so I'm going to disconnect. But anyway,
Sorry, sorry.
where was I?
Confirm you
Right.
can see the slides.
Right. So we're discussing about the issue of financial pressure. And confirm you admit you had hit the point another about dressing expensively, avoiding dressing expensively.
Yes, yes, yes. I just wanted to
Yeah.
confirm if you can see the slides.
Yeah. You can see the slide. Please just go to the slide.
Unique financial
That's the slide.
challenges. Okay, good.
Yes. You mentioned lifestyle pressure. So the last point that I'd want to mention under lifestyle pressure is that you have to understand that during your first 3 to 5 years after school, during your first 3 to 5 years after school, we call it a financial survival phase. That's a fact. If you do not want to accept that this is a financial survival phase and you're going to get into trouble, it's not a display phase. It's a financial survival phase. So the principle that's there is when you're buying your shoe, you should be thinking, okay, survival, okay, all right. So how long is this shoe going to last? Right. And when you're buying a pair of trousers, when you're buying a shirt, you're buying dresses, you're buying a watch, you're even buying your phone. You need to be thinking. I remember having a discussion with my brother, and I was telling him, I need a good phone that is going to last for about 4 years. And also, even considering a phone that is going to have updates, that are going to last 4 years. The last thing during that time, we had just witnessed, I don't know whether it was Apple, it was this other phone company that they'd actually stopped updating certain phone. So at that time, you couldn't use the phone for WhatsApp or something, or even you couldn't even download other applications. So you're saying, no, I cannot afford to upgrade a phone every year. I cannot do that. We cannot upgrade these phones every day. So I need a phone that is going to last for a minimum of 4 years. I remember this time. I don't know what happened, but ndakazongoona the screen it's separated from the rest of the phone and uh, in LCD pangu pane this cable yakangobata ndika. So I said to myself, you know what, I remember calling my friend. I was telling him the experience. Ndakati, because these things are real. Because sometimes you realize, you don't know what, guys, we're on this principle. We're not going to change this phone in after 4 years. But you're getting all this pressure. People are buying all these flash phones. Even I remember sometimes, even your colleagues are the ones who are actually the source of this pressure. I remember once in a doctor was saying, as an intern, you need a very good phone that can take very good pictures. More like, photo shoot kind of thing. Because, be taking x-rays of, because at Harare Hospital, the hospital could not afford to print films. So you actually have to take a picture from the computer. Remember, your boss says, the senior doctor clearly says, okay, Dr. Mhute, you are the intern who saw this patient. Can I have a look at the X-ray? And then the screen you know what? Pamwe unongowanza kwanyengoti afuna angada kuti akufuna kuita yashata. Although the X-ray ichiri kuoneka. So sometimes you feel all that pressure, even when you're answering your phone, but kuda kutoibuditsa so pakaungana chakwadround panaungana varipo phone kai azvichanyatsokuita. So at that time, I was looking for an excuse just to change the phone. So separated the LCD, I called my friend and said, shamari phone kunozvashata. What I was expecting, I couldn't say, good shaka, I don't need to buy a new phone. Guess what he said? He said, Shamarika, that's exactly what happened to, remember that old iPhone that I had? Yes, I remember. Don't worry. Anima Physica, if you go up and join and if you just go up and those guys show them your phone, they'll put in very nice sellotape. They'll just put very nice sellotape for 2 days. Out of those 2 days, you can remove the sellotape. Your phone will be okay. What I could really feel the pain, but it was necessary. We had to go to that route. We had to go to that route. That's the other thing. Also, when it comes to financial issues, when it comes to money, don't expect yourself to never. Don't trust yourself. Don't say that nini, I resist the pressure. I'm very rational when it comes to money. Actually, the unfortunate thing is that when it comes to money, most people are irrational. They don't really use common sense when it comes to money. So it's good as medical students to have friends, people that you discuss with, these money issues, discuss the principle. There are people that will even help you, that will even regulate you. When you're now being, too emotional about these things, or when you're now succumbing to the pressure, you instead of just buying one shoe which is a bit rugged, which will survive the pressures, the pedestrian. They'll say to you, no, Shama, don't buy this one. Don't buy this. Just buy this one. Kai. I ain't on for money so because even guys, I don't know about ladies. Guys, you can test file there are some shoes that you can buy tinga. Okay, 2 days, which is also found by after those 2 days, you can even see that there's some changes about boots. It's meant for people to drive from point A to point B. So you actually need people around you who help you, who remind you, Shama, you're no longer making financially sound decisions. Yeah. This upgrade that you've made, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You just need something simple. And even when you're trying to upgrade, even your trousers, they'll tell you even tell you, no, it's right. Push it's right. You're now succumbing to unnecessary pressure. The other challenge, that's the unique challenge, is family expectations. And so family, they're going to expect you to, now that you are working, they're saying, we now expect you to support your siblings. We now expect you to, they now expect you to support your siblings. We now expect you to support your parents. There's extended family. Yeah. Sometimes you're going to discover that, the salary that you get sometimes, it won't even be enough to support your own needs. Yeah. So the critical point that you have to understand now when it comes to family expectations is you need to manage them wisely. Do not fall to pressure. I know people will call you names. Hey, no komera, doke, because sometimes trying to explain to them, some people don't understand. Some people, it's none of their business. They don't have to know that, even though in you have to understand that the principle that you have to understand is that never give money that you have not planned for. That's number one. Never give money that you have not planned for. Then the other principle, so what it means is with the salary that you'll be earning. All right. Okay. So how much was I earning when I was in right? Okay. I think up to this day they're still using the system. They give you a certain portion of the money as USD component, certain portion of the money as SIG, right? USD. No. I was debating in my mind whether I should mention this figure or lest I discourage some students who are preparing for an exam. Anyway, let me leave this part. But for now, and because you noma kumi knows one excuse yokusaseva maslide chiti akomana tikushandirei akomana ndika right did right so USD component were it at $281 did that was the USD component. Then the ZIG that's around what? Around 13,000 ZIG. So total with the ZIG component was where you get that USD. You what? I'm doing the math. Get anyway the salary around what? It was around 600. But now the issue, the total that you have at the end would be affected in a rate. If you get if the rate is good during that period, then 600 something maybe from if you were to change your so on average they just say around $600. Yeah, that would be the total. That's not a low. Okay. That's fine. So you have to plan to say, okay, from the money that I'm earning, all right. So if I want to support someone, maybe it's a sibling or parent, it's something that you actually have to plan for. Yeah, because what you have to understand is that you cannot rescue others if you are drowning financially. Then also when it comes to support, you have to understand that there are things that you need to delay. This is a principle that is necessary, but some people won't understand. I'm not at a point. Because when it comes to supporting people, you need to understand that if you perform certain duties prematurely, you are going to suffer. Give you an example. You're an intern. During your first year of internship, first month they're saying, right. Ndakushanda akababerwa pana kufira kuti mwana akushanda akuisa solar pamba. So for what is it, 3 kV system or 5 kV system? I'm not forgetting. We are looking at around 3,000. I don't know if my prices up about it. Last year we're looking at around $300 USD. Now tell me, like the savings to be able to set up that thing. What would be wise? You say, right now pandira. Okay, if it's support, maybe no one sugar, or maybe no one contribute to or I can make a contribution towards the water. Not even the full thing, but I say I'll make it the contribution whilst I work on increasing my capacity. Well, some of the things, the other challenge is, for example, I mentioned, given this example with the solar, you make an investment. Solar. What it means is that this is going to wipe out all your savings. Because we're going to talk about savings very soon. It's going to wipe out all your savings. Because these savings are the things that are supposed to help you. For example, if you had to get an opportunity, maybe they said also you're offering up with that said also you need money, yes, to make more money. You're going to notice budget a challenge. You're not going to have anything to invest, even make a small side hustle because yes, wakanoishandisa kuda kunoti vanhu vafara vati sure, our daughter or our son is now a medical doctor. But actually, to be wise, we say, okay, I'm going to delay making this investment or buying them the thing, or buying them a new fridge, buying them a new TV. I'm going to delay that whilst I set up other things in my life. Right. I don't know if that part makes sense. So you have to manage those expectations. It's okay. They'll say that that's okay. Christ and understand. Now, who are you trying to do that? You're going to fail. That's obvious, isn't it? Right. Even you can think of the most philanthropic individual here in Zimbabwe that we know. And actually, people want to complain about height. I know buys. Yet, where you are earning these peanuts, and you're trying to meet all the expectations. It's not going to be possible. So you also need to prioritize things. Say, okay, if I'm going to do something for them, what is that I'm going to start with? Something that I can afford to buy or set up. Next slide. Right. Oh, it's now 8 minutes to 11. All right. Okay. I have to move a little bit faster. Money management principles. The first point there is budgeting. Coming back to budgeting. So for budgeting, one of the things that
sorry to just intercept you. It seems getting good feedback on this session, and it seems probably time won't allow us to do everything. Would it be well maybe if you can have a part 2 next Sunday?
Sunday.
Or some other Sunday.
I'll continue to 12.
Or some other Sunday. Some other
because
Sunday.
They actually to come back earlier from Masangom.
All right, it's okay. I'll let you continue and discuss that before.
Yeah. I think you can discuss everything. At least you get something in the. It will give you a good starting point. Some of these things, some of the other things. What you have to understand is that some things do not make sense if you've not started implementing any single principle. Yeah, that's things that reference. Some things will not make sense. If for someone, for example, if even if you were to say, now need going, look for maybe enroll in some business courses. Some things don't make any sense if you've not yet started applying the basics that you know. All right, let's proceed. So budgeting. For budgeting, initially what we started by doing was would record in a diary, notebook, our expenses, income, and the money that we're willing to spend, that we're willing to invest. Yeah, when you use words like invest, it doesn't sound as if you're putting in a lot of money. Just that I don't know. I put the book, but it would have been nice if I sent a picture of that notebook. Where we sat down with my friend and said, right, how much are we investing in our business? And I remember We sat down, we scratched our heads, got it right. As the managing director, Tanaka Mhute, I'm setting aside $11. I said, yeah, this is a lot of money. $11. And my partner said, yeah, you've challenged me. Yeah, I'll also put $11. Yes. Now I have $22. And with that $22, during that time, forgetting exactly what it is that we bought using that $22. So that was that for us. That was a huge investment, and it was actually during a board meeting. Yes, in our hostel. Remember we made yeah. So for budgeting, with time, we then discovered that I know what using books. This thing of using books is not very efficient because it's not. I'm not going to be getting this book every week. And sometimes you forget. Could you bought airtime for $1? Right? You forget. Could instead of paying 50 cents, azobhadhara was $1 per combi. You forget those transactions. So what we then did is we then discovered that there are applications on Play Store. We downloaded this one called Cashbook. Back then it was still free. Now they require you to pay $2.50 per month. So we used Cashbook. There are also other applications that are there that are free. So that's what we'd use to record our expenses. So it was a simple thing. Cash in. Okay, I get $1, enter the $10, enter that $10. For expenditure, cash out, and then at the end of the month, you would actually give a breakdown. You'd actually put in some settings, and then it would give a breakdown of how much you have invested in total cash in and total cash out. Right. And up to this day, I just look at. Sometimes I even open the application and I'm surprised because I think I started using it. Was 20, which I'm forgetting the exact year. But up to this day, it's showing me a cumulative value, the total amount that I've recorded in that application, total input, and the total money that I cashed out from that application. And I can even identify the total amount of money that I used towards transport from that time that I started using that application. I can even find out the total amount of money that I used towards food from the time that I started using the application. How much money did I use? How much tithe did I pay? So I can even tell if I've actually paid the faithful tithe based on my total income. How much did I receive from other income streams? So that's the beauty of having records. So a simple budget principle. This is just an example. So it will vary from individual to individual. For example, someone can say, for my budgeting, I'll channel 50% towards my needs. So again, you have to be honest with yourself. What is it exactly that you're calling a need? Then I'll allocate 30% to flexible spending. That would be up to you. What is it that you refer to as flexible spending? Then 20%, I'm going to put 20% towards saving, even if it's very, very small. 20% towards savings. And actually, depending with how disciplined you are, sometimes we actually say to ourselves, no, let's push ourselves. Instead of putting 20%, we're going to put 30%. Because I read from this book, Richest Man in Babylon by George Clarkson. You are saying, whenever you make a decision to say, I'm going to save 30%, you immediately force yourself and adjust your lifestyle to fit into the 70%. And if you say, okay, I'm going to save 40%, and it means you have to make my serious changes. For example, you said, okay, in India, badge, but I can't afford to get into these, fancy shops, these fancy, jackets. Inakwenda kubero. Tenga badge rangu. Badge rangu kubero. Ronyasu clean nicely, put a lot of detergents, just to kill any pathogens. Yeah. So that but I know from my planning for my expenditure towards clothing, if I'm to buy from this shop, and put a budget rank. So that's the decision that we have to make. And also sometimes then say to yourself, depending for people and race, who then say, I have to make sure tika tatoguta kudaningo kubo. So people, just be saying, this guy is every day. Right? If you walk right behind him, what is people are being saved. Anymore, is people are being saved. When he gets his serving of rice, he always asks for some more each and every single day. Some more. The plan is I'm not going to buy anything from the tuck shop. Actually, when I was a student, it used it. People would go Cambridge to buy food. Cambridge and the one time that I went to Cambridge, actually, is when I started my side hustle. Because there was Mkuru there at Cambridge. So there's someone who sent money via Mkuru, so saying, hi, if you have any shop near you, any shop, I'm wondering, shop. So I asked some guys in my class, guys, where's the nearest Mkuru? Said Cambridge. Cambridge, actually, and this was Cambridge, actually, kuna supermarkets, so I had to ask for directions to that place. And I said, oh, okay, so this is where my classmates come to spend money. So to make sure, breakfast, they eat too much. But the plan is, I'm not going to buy anything. Yes. I'm not going to even buy anything. I think the other time also from our tuck shop at the campus, when we buy things from that tuck shop, I think the one thing that I remember buying from that tuck shop was actually a box of matches. I bought a box of matches because we started working on our honey project. So we needed matches. Yeah, we needed matches because that was not bad motor. So we piece some items. So we bought matches from them. So we are okay. Yeah. Right. Next aspect is saving. So saving. So actually, for example, when I was now using this application, would actually create what we call books within that application. So books will say, okay, I'm saving towards this, right? I'm saving towards A, I'm saving towards B, I'm still saving towards C. So there are different levels of saving. For example, we've got what we call survival savings. Survival savings are just savings meant to cater for expenses, airtime, transport. They're more like buffers in the event that there's an emergency. Already if money, we say, okay, on average, I'm spending, let's say $2 towards airtime. But if it happens that there's an emergency or something happens or what that has not been planned for, these survival savings will provide a buffer, will allow me to spend more airtime. This transport buffer will allow me to spend more. It's something that I would plan for a trip at Akwenda for, in our case, the bus would ferry us from UZ to Harare Hospital. In the event that there's still a bus, and to then, benefit from these survival savings. Then another level of saving is what we call an emergency fund. Emergency fund. In the event that there's an emergency, any kind of emergency, this is money that I'll never use, no matter what happens. And if it means I'll have to walk from Paris, from Paris to use it back to campus, we are going to walk because I have used up all the money in the survival savings. Now I'm left with the emergency fund. This is not an emergency. As a bus, I'll just have to back to campus. So emergency fund, money that you just keep there for in the event of any emergency, maybe you fall sick or there's any tragedy. Right? Then there's another level of saving known as an opportunity fund. With the opportunity fund, you are saving for business or an investment of any kind. What is that you want to buy? For us, I mean, in my case, there's a time, there was a time that I was, tutoring, and I realized that, what? I think a tablet is necessary. Yeah, a tablet is necessary because no, I cannot share my small phone with the students. So I need a tablet. So I'm going to start saving. I'm just going to start saving towards this tablet. For some people, I say I'm going to start saving towards certain gear, protective gear that I'm going to be using for work or for people who be interested in the stock market. Okay, so I'm going to start saving towards certain stocks. But one key thing that I want to explain before I leave this point, which is a point that's explained well in the richest men in Babylon, they say, don't put your money in a business or any venture that you do not understand. If you don't understand how it works, that's one of the easiest ways to lose your money. Yes, even if in a business or any venture that you understand very well, there are still chances that you will lose that money. It's possible. But the chances of losing that money, you always lower the risk of losing that money if you put your money into something that you understand. Right. Next issue is avoiding debt traps. When you're now working, you're going to discover that there are these people who act like they love you so much. These companies, I will not mention their names, but as soon as you get your salary, for most of the professionals, you get your money. If you're a government employee, you're going to get your money mid-month, around 15, around 12, thereabout. On the following day, you are going to see people coming to you with phones, very nice phones, very nice TV, very nice furniture, all sorts of things. They'll say, no, we're offering you loans, salary-based loans. Don't worry, we've got flexible payment terms. And most people are enticed with this thing. They say, you know what, I'm just putting the few dollars. But they don't understand that, you know what, this is business. And these people, they are not your friends. And they're there to make money. Because sometimes you didn't make the calculation, you realize that number one, you don't really need this. And are you really at the point where you are ready to really to purchase a new bed? Is it really that necessary? And all these clothes that you're buying, this furniture that you're now buying, is it really necessary? And all these trousers, I remember, I don't know about ladies, but there's always a minimum number of trousers that a guy can survive with. Yeah, that is sufficient. I will not mention the number because I know the ladies on this platform. But it's men. Men know there's a minimum number. But every man, if you just have that number of trousers, if you are certain colors, you know that you are fine. And also shoes. Just so it's very, very important. We need to resist these salary-based loans. Even you already saw that these people are actually after our money. Right behind your pay slip, if you're still giving you, tell me when you finish, if they're still giving you pay slip, you're going to, right behind that pay slip, companies anokanyora matito zavo, we want to give you this. Just come, just pay deposit, what. You end up, if you're not careful, you're going to discover that you are going to, at the end, I remember talking to one question, by the time I get my salary, I'll be left with very few dollars because some of the money is going towards jet, and loan travel jet, nice clothes. Some of it is going to TV sales. There's some TV, what TV sales, there's some property. Some is going to transfer for offering masolas, what, fridge, what, all these fancy things. Because people want, things, just some pictures, my status, well. Yeah, so that becomes a challenge. So you should be very careful. You should accept. You should get to a point where in your life you say to yourself, "What is the acceptable debt? Acceptable debt." So acceptable debt, usually it's something you are borrowing so that you finance financing your education. That's an acceptable debt. Borrowing so that you support an income generating activity. Also, when you're borrowing to support an income generating activity, you should have actually sit down with your guys that you're working with, and you've actually make sure that you've actually made the calculations. It actually makes sense, and you'll be able to pay back that money in time. It also sometimes also ask yourself, okay, this thing I'm saying to myself, I want to borrow money, I want 2,000 so that I invest in my business. Ask yourself, all right, if you're doing your business with a group of 3, all right, ask yourself, how much can you raise as a group of 3 before you borrow money? Can you not start using that money to leverage business or to do whatever it is that you want to do? Is your business even profitable in the first place? But sometimes people are very ambitious, really too much. They think on paper, figures on paper, in reality, those are two different things. I know if I sell so much units, get profit 1,500, so I'll be able to retain. Who told you people are going to buy from you? You see, that's a very dangerous, assumption. So it's good to say, all right, let's start by using our own money, see if this works. If you now have a system that's a bit more predictable, then we can consider borrowing a certain amount, knowing that in the worst case scenario, we'll be able to retain the individual's money within a certain amount of period. Okay, so the principle that's there is if it doesn't produce income or reduce your essential costs, right? Think twice about borrowing. So 9 past 11. Right, next slide, Malcolm. Right, needs versus wants versus lifestyle inflation. Okay, so needs, I'm sure we have an understanding. We all know what our needs are. For example, food, basic rent. I said basic rent. Yes, basic rent. Transport. Then our wants, things like eating out. New phone. Those are wants. Now, lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation, very interesting concept. You'll notice that initially, say someone is earning $600. When they're earning $700, let's say they're saving, just an example. Let's say they're saving $50 or $100. When they start earning $800, they'll say that they're still saving the same amount of money. After, taking into account all the expenses and everything that they need to pay for, they're still saving the same amount of money. Why is it when I was earning 600, now I'm earning 800? Or when I was earning 400, I'm still saving the same amount of money. The answer is lifestyle inflation. So lifestyle inflation, the concept is people, when they start earning more, they tend to spend more. They earn more, they want to spend more. Earn more, they want to spend more. So you notice that what they're simply doing is when their income increases, they're also increasing their expenditure. So at the end, they will still continue to save the amount of money. So this is something that we need to be on the lookout for. And so it needs to strike a balance between rewarding yourself and falling into the trap of lifestyle inflation. I remember there's a time I was saying to myself, you know what? The way that we worked this month, we need to reward ourselves. We need to reward ourselves, And then sometimes it turns out that the way that you've rewarded yourself is actually way more than the amount that you have earned that month. Then that makes sense. So actually you need to really sit down and say, before we earn the money, in the event that we get a good deal on it, tikutenga boots dzakawanda, you get a profit, or whatever it is that you are doing, or you get your salary. You need to decide before you get that money, how much am I going to spend? Just to reward myself, just to thank myself, you worked very hard. You were on call 2 times a week or even 3 times a week. You're working back to back. So that is very, very, very important. Or else you fall into this lifestyle inflation trap. Now, the medical student trap is you're making this transition from student to sudden earning. Even if it's little, moving from zero to 600, zero to 500. So the common mistakes people make, we've mentioned them. Some will buy a car too early. They'll move into an expensive apartment. They will start supporting too many people. Because they don't have this forces. Especially if someone was not budgeting, they would think that whatever it is that they're earning is a lot of money. But they're not doing the math. I don't know if you've ever got into a situation where you get into a shop, you're buying a lot of things. And you think that, no, this I can afford it. It's only $5. This is only $7. And then you get the till, you then realize that you've actually spent around $120. And if you're someone who's not very trying to find a nice word. Okay. For some people, they will not have the guts to return those things back to the shelves. But someone who's financially literate will say to them, no. Don't include the granola. Please remove this. Don't go second party. All these things, we'll be able to return these things to the shop. That's something that's necessary that you should be able to do in life. Because if you're not careful, you end up buying things that you don't need. Because these salespeople, that's their job. Other thing that's important is what we
Sorry,
call
before you continue, we just have exactly 4 minutes to finish this session. So I don't know, maybe if we can just stop now and then we just start another 40 minutes so that you can continue.
Okay, that's fine. We can stop now and then start another 40 minutes.
Okay, so guys, we're going to stop now, and then within 2 minutes we will all rejoin. Thank you.
We're rejoining after how many minutes?
Just within 2 minutes, just within a minute.
2 minutes.
two.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
I think what made panoita rejoin anenge vakamute vamaiki nemavideos.
I'll try and make that setting.